So today I'm gonna roll my hair. At the same time, I have a chit chat on some health updates. So I hope you'll join me. Hey everyone, it's Melissa. I am going to roll my hair the way I have seen my friend Tammy's Ageless Beauty, do her hair with hot rollers. She has the most beautiful hair. I love the way she does it when she does her hot rollers, and she takes it out. It's just beautiful and got so much body and everything. So I did my hair like that, and I like the way it turned out. So I thought I would talk about it and talk about my health at the same time. It's been a summer. It really has. I've had some scares. I thought I would share it to you. I withdrew from YouTube, from social media, I just cocooned because I was so upset about everything, but things are better and things are turned out to be okay. So I thought I would share that and just give you a little update. Okay, ready for a good old fashioned chit chat. I've got my coffee, got my water bottle, and I've got a bandage on here I wanted to tell you all about because I figured people would ask. During all of my adventures trying to get better, I had an MRI and they couldn't find a vein, so that vein just blew out. So it's just turned so dark bruised, it's black now. It just looks terribly gross, so I thought I'll put a bandage on it so y'all wouldn't have to look at it. But it's not hurt. It's not a hurt place bandage. It's a cover-up bandage. So I'm gonna follow one of my friend Tammy's, one of her hot roller videos, because she just does the best ones. And I have the same hot rollers that she does. They're caught on the stupid leg. Wait, hold on. Got it. Okay, so it's all scratched and everything, but they still work perfectly. So, no sense in buying a new one thing. I think they're by Conair or Babyliss or one of those. But they work really well. I slept, with my hair up kind of like that last night. Tammy has a lot better hair than I do, but I'm gonna still attempt it anyway. And so I saw how she did it. She does 4 up here. And she the front two, to fit 4 on, she kind of goes this way. And then she does 2 down, 2 down, and then 2 down. So I'm gonna give it a go and see what it does on my hair. My hair, before I get started, I'm just gonna brush my hair out and kind of tell you about my hair. My hair on that part of my hair has broken off, and I think it's been this Kerastase shampoo that I've been using. So I went back to my Naloxone, and it's quit breaking there. I was having like hair fallout, but it wasn't from the root. It was from the end. So I'm gonna have to start trimming that off to get it back healthy again. So I'll start that the next time I go. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna try to live with it. Okay, so let me tell you what happened. I have had adventures in medicine. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and I won't talk anymore about the hair, unless I feel like I need to. So what happened was, I think you all have noticed probably, because I've gotten DMs and stuff and emails, are you okay? We've missed you and stuff, and that's so sweet and I appreciate it. But I just have been ill. I've been sick, and I couldn't figure out why. It was with my intestines and my stomach and all of that. Well, I have Crohn's, so I thought, well, it felt like it always did when my small intestines were closing up. And so I thought, well, my intestines are closing up again. And Tammy, right quick, Tammy always does this. She puts the clip in, and then she does another clip to hold it tight. So I'm gonna do that. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to fit 4 up here. I bet I should have started back further. Okay, but so I have Crohn's, so I thought, well, it's got to be the Crohn's acting up. So and I just felt worse and worse, and some days I could barely walk. It was just, I was so sick. So I went and had a colonoscopy, and he said, your colonoscopy looks good. And I was like, well, then what's wrong with me? But the colonoscopy, it mainly just looks at your colon, and my colon's always been fine. It's always been my small intestine. So he said, let's do an MRI that will tell us more. And in the meantime, he found a hernia, like right above, it sticks out pretty good above my belly button, and that could have been causing me problems too. But my colon looked good, so, there was that. And so, in the meantime, something occurred to me. And I will say, in the middle of this, I got help from a friend, a dear friend, and she's a YouTuber, and she's going to be doing a video, so I'm not going to talk about it, the help she gave me, until she does her video, and then I'll talk about it. Let me kind of do it off to the side like that. So, in the meantime, I started thinking, could the breast cancer have metastasized to my liver? And it wasn't an idle thought, because it's exactly what happened to my mother. My mother had the exact same breast cancer as I have had. She had the exact, well, that looks like crap. She had the exact same breast cancer that I had. She had it at the exact same age that I had mine. She had a mastectomy like I did. She had a, I don't know if it's gonna stay. She had a mastectomy like I did. She had and within 18 months, her cancer had metastasized to her liver. And it has been about 18 months since I had my breast cancer. And the reason she went to the doctor, she went to a gastroenterologist that diagnosed them, metastasizing to her liver, was because she had a lot of the same symptoms, the feeling of being full, the losing your appetite. I've been losing weight, just everything that sounds like Crohn's, but it could be other things too, and that's scary. So I had this in the back of my mind. Could it be the breast cancer has metastasized to my liver? And I wanted to go with the odds that it didn't, that wasn't so, but my mother didn't have those odds. My mother's cancer, it absolutely within 18 months. And she was doing tamoxifen, the same thing that I'm doing. And it just seemed like, shoot fire. And it just seemed like I was following along in my mother's footsteps. It really did. And it scared me. It just scared me to death. I cannot get that to stay up. Let me see if I can just keep it right there, except it gets on my ear. Let me stuff that up there. Okay. So that was in the back of my mind. And I kept thinking about it, and I would try not to, but it was, I was just so closely, everything that had happened to my mother at the same age was happening to me. The breast cancer, the same type, everything. And so it was worrying. Was I going to go? Because after they discovered the breast cancer in her, the metastasized cancer in her liver, within 2 to 3 years, she was dead. And, she fought, and she went through chemo. I took care of her, so I was extremely familiar because I took care of her the whole time. And I flew her out to, I flew with her and took her out to MD Anderson. We did everything we could to save her, but we couldn't. And so, look how much lower this one is. I swear I'm not good at this. But anyway, I might do those over again. They seem a little low. So, I was naturally very afraid, that everything was going to be the same. So, let me put those back in to warm up. I think I just didn't do this one high enough. Yeah, I think that was let me just try to bring this up higher. there. So, you know, I had gone through that battle and it just all felt so familiar. It felt so familiar to me and it was frightening. So the MRI, they did the MRI and I was in the patient portal. You know, you can see your records ahead of time and it popped up and it was over the weekend and it popped up and it said I had 6 cysts on my liver. It said my Crohn's was okay, which I was very grateful for, but it said 6 cysts on my liver. Now logically I knew if you took some of the population and did an MRI on them, a percentage of them would have cysts on their liver. And a doctor later told me that on their kidney, on people's kidneys too. People just have cysts on their livers and on their kidneys. And you know, so a part of me felt like, okay, logically, this is what it is. It doesn't say tumors, it says cysts. And my mother's always said she has so-and-so amount of tumors on her liver. But still, it was the middle of the night, it was the weekend, nobody could answer my questions. I couldn't talk to my oncologist, I couldn't talk to my GI doctor, I couldn't talk to my GP doctor, I couldn't talk to anyone. And I didn't want to talk to my kids because I didn't want to worry them. I kind of got this messed up. Oh well. So, you know, I couldn't talk to anybody about it. And I just got so worried. And to my, you know, defending myself after what I had been through with my mother and following along on the same path as my mother, you know, I think most people would have been uneasy. And I was uneasy. I went from uneasy to feeling like I was going to throw up. I was so scared. And I would look at pictures of my grandchildren and I would cry. And, you know, just the fear of being so worried, you know, that I wasn't ever going to see him again, that, you know, I was going to die like my mother had. So it was a hard time, but I finally, Monday came and I finally sent all the, you know, contacted my oncologist first thing and she said, we're going to request the records. Cannot find anything to keep this last one up with. Well, shoot fire. I don't know what to do. I don't have enough of the clips. Oh, well, I have one of these. So I talked to the oncologist, I talked to the nurse, and she said, okay, I'm going to request the records right now to be sent immediately over. We're going to look at them. Yes, you're right to be concerned. You know, we need to see this. So she called me back and left a message, and in the meantime, I had an appointment with my GP, my regular doctor, to get my B12 shot, and I said, look, would you look at this and see if there's anything for me to worry about? And he said, I absolutely see nothing in these records for you to worry about. He said, the same thing that I told you earlier, if you took the population, 100 people, and did MRIs or scans on them, 50% of them would show cysts on their liver or their kidneys. And I said, but yeah, I've got so many. He said, I know, but I'm not a bit worried. I don't see anything to worry about. And then my oncologist called, she left a message. She said, actually, the doctor just doesn't see anything for you to worry about. We'll keep checking your blood work, and you know, you've got, and I've got a mammogram coming up, you know, to check to make sure everything is okay still up there. And, you know, your liver, actually, that's not anything to be concerned about. So I feel like a weight has been lifted because I was really scared. I haven't been this scared. I don't think I was this scared when I initially got the breast cancer, because they told me I didn't have to have chemo, even though it was the same type that my mother had. They told me I didn't have to have chemo and that it would just kind of be a bump in the road. So I always really held on to that. But that path that my mother had, it scared me, because I did take over her medical stuff completely, made decisions for her and everything. And I knew what it looked like and what it involved. I knew it would be a hard road for me. So yeah, I was really, really scared, but I feel like it has been lifted. Now, what they finally figured out has been wrong with me is, I do have that pretty good sized hernia there that's probably pushing on things and making me have that full feeling. But also, my small intestines have been, sections, like 6 times have been sections of it have been removed. Some of it kind of large sections sometimes and sewn back together. So when that happens, the doctor explained to me that bacteria, I guess from the colon, can get back up into that small intestine that's not supposed to be there. It causes, you'd like to be infected in there. And I noticed that I had been running fevers. But you do with Crohn's, and you could, I guess, with cancer, run some low-grade fevers off and on. So they finally figured out that that's what it was. He said it can be common with people that have had a lot of their small intestine removed because there's no stopper there to keep everything to coming back up into your small intestines, the bacteria and stuff. So they're going to start me on an antibiotic, and he really thinks that'll make me feel better. If not, they'll look at that hernia. But I have high hopes that it's just bacteria and an infection. So hopefully I can start eating again and feel better. I already feel better because I feel relief. Okay, I'm going to let this cool, and then I'm going to, and I'm sorry I've been so absent, but here's the thing. I think I'm the type of person that I cocoon and I withdraw. I didn't want to talk about it. I talked to Doug about it some, but I kind of didn't want to burden him. I didn't talk to my kids. I talked to some of my friends that, that are online. I talked to a few of them, and they were so helpful to me. But I just didn't feel like getting on social media or YouTube or anything. I just wandered kind of through the house, and I just thought, I've got to get through this. And I did things to distract me. I listened to podcasts. I did listen to ASMR, whatever it took for me to get through it is what I did. So anywho, that's my health story. I feel like a burden has been lifted because when I read those 6 cysts, like I said, I kind of started seeing stars because I thought I'm going to pass out seeing this. So, it scares you. But anyway, I'm going to go let this cool off, and I'll take it down and show you what it looks like, and then, do the final goodbye. And so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I took it down, and I like it. It didn't make as much curl as I thought it would, and it could be that I didn't wash my hair last night. I had washed it the night before, so sometimes that can make a difference in how well your hair takes curl. But I've still got some fuzzy ends that I need to cut off, but I do like it. Now, it doesn't give me as much curl as a curling iron will do, but it gives it a lot of body, that's for sure. So, and I do think that it's healthier probably to use hot rollers instead of a curling iron because it doesn't get quite as hot, and it's that flocked, it's got flocking all around it, so that kind of protects it too. But that's an easy way to just stick some rollers in, go about your business, and take them down later, and then you can just go, and it'll kind of, it gives me a lot of body. But anyway, so thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to my updates on my health. I am feeling better. I'm anxious to get completely better, get back to normal again. It's been a challenging summer with my health, that's for sure. But anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Love you all. Like and subscribe. I will talk to you all in a couple of days, and thanks again. Bye-bye.